Ladder मिलेगा? I think I live wanting to move. I live not wanting to create a home. I live not wanting to be attached to anything. I'm scared of settling down. So even traveling and making artworks is an experience of shuffling through various time zones. It feels like that. So, and I'm not attached to anything. I don't plan an artwork. I do it on site. I like the site to influence what I do. So no work is similar to another work. I'm not interested in style. I'm interested in imagining what people should see in a public space. So the thinking of making art is not for myself, but the journey of understanding what is the sentiment of a street, what is the history of a place, what is the history of a road, a canal, a lamppost, and how does that affect an artwork? And how do you visualize an artwork within such a scenario? And yes, I like to stand in the heat. And yes, I like to see things from a different perspective, being above, but it's also the comfort of feeling that you're suspended in air while you're painting. Your feet is not on the ground while you're painting. So I'm also a performer that brings a certain joy. So I've had a little kid pester a mother and say, I want to go meet this auntie because she's painting on the streets and I want to be like her. I never realized I could become a symbol for somebody else. You think you understand everything you do, you don't. And the streets have taught me humility. And this is why I like working on the streets, because every time I'm on the street, I learn from the streets. And learning from the streets is how I perceive my art to be and how I carry it forward. And people come and talk to me about cities, about problems in the cities. It's almost like I'm a facilitator between a wall and the traffic in the city. So this role of a performer I like. So I'm not interested in making things bright. I'm not interested in putting a lot of color for permanence. I think of impermanence, and that impermanence sets me free. This project was in Dhaka first. So I made a book which is called Summer's Children. It's about my early childhood memories in Kerala. It's a silent book of 100 pages, and so this is one page from that book. The whole book talks about one day in the life of these two kids as they are journeying through the plantation. And this is that sentiment of them looking into a well, and one is imagining a tadpole and one is imagining a frog. Having been brought up in such a free space, your idea of the world was so confined. You know, you found entertainment on a well, you know, a tadpole just running around, and there was nothing more you needed. There are some things in life which are hard to move on from, and I feel like growing up in that plantation is probably the reason why I'm an artist. Growing up with my grandparents is the reason. So even in the book, there are only 2 adults in the book, and they're not my parents. That home doesn't exist anymore, so it's a lot about memory and loss. Not having that home to go back to. So when I made the book, it was completely from memory. So I did not want to make a line. And the style I've used is pointillism, and it's also because of how memories are so fuzzy. It took me 2 years to make the book. So I was trying the same sentiment out on this. When you read a book, this is how you would read it. You would look down. But when you encounter an artwork, you're looking at it head on. And the kind of sentiment, a small image when it's blown up, makes you feel. You feel drawn to it. And there is no line, it's all dots. So it's an illusion. So you're also playing with people's minds. So I'm not making you see one thing, I'm making you see 100,000 dots on a wall. I never revisit my artworks, firstly. I'm not interested in going back and looking and appreciating my own hard work. It's the process. I've done it, it's over. Now it's for the city or the people and the space to have their sentiment with it. I'm not part of it.